The mid-range market when it comes to smartphones is so saturated as it is. So it can be really quite hard to actually find a phone and pick one out to buy. So we have two relatively newcomers to the market. We have the TCL 35G and
the TCL 30XE 5G.
And these are both mid-range phones.
Yes.
Mine's coming in around $500 Canadian.
Mine's roughly around $350 Canadian. This is the sort of entry level, and this is sort of the pro.
Yeah, if you want to call it that. But we're going to just discuss some of the differences, some of the similarities. So by the end of this video, you should know which one to go for.
Yeah, TCL is a fairly newcomer to the mobile phone space, and they kind of entered the market like a bear a few years ago by offering some very aggressive pricing on some very compelling devices, and they would throw in a TV as well.
Yeah.
But the thing about TCL TVs, at least, is that they're basically no compromises, just basic good quality television set, great panels, all the kind of the bells and whistles you'd expect for a, well, let's call it a smart TV, but it's, you know, it's got your streaming services. Depending on where you get it from, it might have Amazon, it might have Google, it might have Roku.
Yeah.
And so it just sort of depends where you buy it from. And, you know, the mobile phones are kind of the same way. They're relatively stock Android. There is a little bit of a TCL UI over top of things, but it's very unobtrusive.
It's really just a skin, if anything.
Yeah, and it's really meant to be sort of more of like a wizard to help you get your phone set up. So I really like these phones because they're very affordable.
Yeah.
So literally, if you were like to throw it away, it's not too bad to replace compared to like your iPhones or your high-end Samsungs, right?
Certainly, and I think what's very apparent with this generation, say, of mid-range phones that we can see in both of these is that the difference in features between these and some of the higher-end phones is not that big at all.
No.
Like, let's just talk about cameras for a second. In the 35G, this is rocking a 50 megapixel main sensor.
Right.
Which, like, that was nuts to see just a number of years ago in a mid-range phone. Now, it has its caveats where if you open the camera app by default, it's just 12 megapixels.
Right.
You have to go into the 50 megapixel mode. But that's pretty much, you see that across the board, even in the most high-end Samsung phones as well.
Yeah, that's right. And we should point out that these are probably comparable, almost on a like-for-like basis, to the Samsung A series phones.
Yeah, eerily so.
Yeah, because we were looking at the specs, and they're like, who came first? Because they're very close.
Yeah, like, especially with the A53 and the TCL 35G, they have the same screen size, the same screen resolution, the exact same, and that's 6.5 inches screen size, and I think a 1080p by 2400 resolution.
Which is an interesting point, because you noticed right away that this does not shoot 4K.
Yeah, that would probably be one of my main gripes.
Yeah.
Like the camera app is like stacked with all sorts of features, ones that are bespoke to TCL, ones that we've seen before like macro, slow-mo, things like that are pretty much bog standard in phones now. But one of the main things that I was genuinely shocked by was the fact that this doesn't shoot 4K. I was going through settings, different modes to make sure maybe I'm just not in the right mode.
Yeah.
But like cross-referencing all of TCL's material, it's 1080p max.
Well, and that's what you get at this tier.
Yeah.
And like we said, these are very affordable phones. So they're, you know, you're not going to get the top tier device specs.
You're not. No, you're not getting, say, Wi-Fi 6. You're not getting Bluetooth 5.2. It's not like you're getting a bad deal in all of those.
No.
But those are the few differentials between this level and the flagship level.
And paying $1,000 more.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Right. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a device that does really good sort of generic Android that has kind of all the bells and whistles the average person would want. And depending on your carrier, these are probably going to be either free or very inexpensive phones.
Seriously so.
If you get them on a plan. But even if you have to buy them outright, they're still very affordable.
Yeah, I think these are two brilliant phones, and I think if you're in the mid-range market, I would be happy with it. Yeah, I think these are two brilliant phones, and if you are in the market for a Ridge Racer.
So if you're looking to replace a phone or upgrade a phone, these are very affordable and very attractive specs for a mid-range phone at this price point. And especially if you're doing it on a plan, these are probably going to cost you nothing.
Yeah, 100%. So if you are in the market for a mid-range phone, why don't you check out the TCL 35G or the 30XE 5G? And while you're at it, you might want some accessories for those smartphones. So why don't you check out one of our favorite smartphone accessories from this year, the Joby Motion series. So check out the video that we did on those. My name's Robin.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you in the next one.